If you're planning to buy a 2027 truck, stop right now because three major platforms are carrying forward engine failures that already cost owners thousands. Toyota's Turbo V6 has a recall covering nearly 100,000 trucks for bearing damage and sudden stalls. Ford's EcoBoost and 10-speed automatic are showing timing chain stretch and transmission drum failures well before 100,000 miles. Ram's Hemi V8 has documented camshaft and lifter failures that kill engines before 60,000 miles. Stay with me, because I'm walking through the real recall filings and what a smart buyer should consider instead. Most 2027 full-size trucks aren't clean sheet redesigns. They're evolutionary updates built on the same platforms, engines, and transmissions that are already on the road today, and that matters more than most buyers realize. When a powertrain shows recorded failures, recalls, or thick clusters of owner complaints in 2022 through 2025, those same mechanical weaknesses are expected to move forward into 2027 unless the manufacturer has explicitly redesigned the component. The automaker must prove the problem is solved, not hope you forget it. In the next few minutes, I'll walk through three trucks where the data is strong enough that a careful buyer should pause before signing a 2027 order. Let's start with the one that surprises people most, because it's Toyota. Toyota built its truck name on naturally aspirated V8 durability, and that history is the reason the current Tundra feels so concerning. The 2022 and newer Tundra ditched the old V8 for a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 called the V35A FTS, and early production has already triggered a major NHTSA recall. Toyota told regulators that machining debris left inside certain engines during manufacturing can damage the crankshaft main bearings. Under sustained load, that debris adheres to the bearings and causes engine knocking, rough running, and sudden stalls while driving. NHTSA specifically called out the increased crash risk from sudden stalling. The recall covers about 98,568 Tundras and Lexus LX 600 SUVs in the U.S., limited to 2022 and 2023 model years, built between November 2021 and February 2023. Toyota identified 824 engine warranty claims tied to the issue and started new cleaning processes at its Huntsville engine plant in December 2022. The hybrid iForce Max variant wasn't included in the recall, but owner reports outside the recall VIN range are troubling. Some owners experienced sudden shutdowns, violent shaking, and even engine fires at low mileages, while dealership diagnostics showed no fault codes at all. A failing engine might not trigger a warning light until the damage is severe. For 2027, unless Toyota confirms a full redesign of the V35A FTS block or bearing layout, the same architecture is expected to carry the same risk profile. But if you think Toyota's the only one with carryover problems, Ford's situation is actually more complicated, because the F-150 has two separate weak points. The F-150 is America's best-selling truck, which is exactly why its problems matter more. Its 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, in first-generation form, built from 2011 through 2016, relied on a single timing chain design that struggled to manage stress across multiple camshafts. Over time, the chain stretches beyond tolerance, causing rattling noises, cam phaser issues, and eventual loss of valve timing. Ford issued TSB 18-2262 in October 2018 for ticking and tapping on startup, calling for replacement of the timing chain and VCT components. Average repair cost runs over $1,400, with engine damage pushing bills to $2,800 or higher. The second generation post-2017 moved to a dual-chain design with improved cam phasers, but EcoBoost still relies on turbocharging, high cylinder pressures, and complex timing that demands strict maintenance. The 10R80 10-speed automatic is a separate concern, and independent transmission specialists have highlighted that its shifting behavior is highly sensitive to line pressure consistency. When fluid degrades or valve body wear sets in, the transmission produces harsh shifts, delayed engagement, and internal drum failures. Owners report cold start hangs in neutral, aggressive downshifts in tow haul mode, and CDF drum failures that lead to full rebuilds. One-tracked progression started with intermittent harsh downshifts, then 4th and 9th gears disappeared entirely, requiring a complete rebuild with updated parts. Ford published TSB 23-2350 and updated modules for 2023 and newer models, but no sweeping recall exists for the transmission. An independent 200,000-mile teardown between the 2.7 EcoBoost, 3.5 EcoBoost, and 5.0 Coyote V8 revealed the naturally aspirated Coyote held up better under sustained heavy use. For 2027, an F-150 with carryover EcoBoost and 10R80 hardware is betting on maintenance discipline and updated software to overcome mechanical sensitivity. Now let's talk about the third truck, and this one hits loyalists the hardest. Ram loyalists love the Hemi V8's sound and torque, but the Hemi has a documented valvetrain weakness that takes engines out without warning. The 5.7-liter Hemi's valvetrain design tends toward lifter collapse and cam lobe damage, and the warning sign is often the so-called Hemi tick on startup. When a lifter fails, it sends metal debris through the engine, and routine maintenance turns into a rebuild costing $5,000 or more. Dense clusters of owner reports across Ram forums document this problem repeatedly, and it often strikes before 60,000 miles, sometimes outside warranty coverage. Some owners report repeated failures even after the initial repair, which points to an architectural issue in the oiling strategy rather than a bad batch of parts. The financial hit is what makes this one personal. A truck engine shouldn't need a full rebuild before the odometer hits 60,000 miles, and when it happens outside warranty, the bill lands squarely on you. Ram hasn't publicly confirmed a redesign of the Hemi valvetrain for 2027. If the 5.7-liter Hemi carries forward without architectural changes, this failure mode is expected to persist. That's tough for loyalists, who bought into the Hemi for its proven V8 character and rumble, but the owner data is consistent enough that a risk-averse buyer should treat it as a serious red flag. So if these three are off the table, what should you actually be looking at? Not every 2027 truck is a gamble. Some platforms have proven mechanical simplicity, or have already fixed their weak points. For Ford buyers, the 5.0-liter Coyote V8 delivered dramatically better long-term durability in that same 200,000-mile teardown comparison against the 2.7 and 3.5 EcoBoost engines. It's simpler, naturally aspirated, and avoids both the timing chain complexity and the turbocharged thermal stress. If you need a Ford in 2027, the Coyote is the safer long-term bet. For Toyota buyers, the iForce Max Hybrid was explicitly excluded from the V35A FTS bearing recall, which indicates its manufacturing process or operating conditions avoid that specific failure mode. Until the gas-only turbo V6 builds a longer clean record, you're safer with the hybrid. For GM buyers, the Silverado and Sierra, with the 5.3-liter or 6.2-liter V8 and 10-speed automatic, show different reliability patterns than the Ford 10R80. The GM 8-speed has a known torque converter shutter issue, so spec the 10-speed if you're looking at a 2027 GM truck. 3 2027 trucks carry forward expensive, recorded powertrain problems. The recalls are filed, the owner reports are consistent, and the repair bills are real. Subscribe for more honest truck analysis, because the 2027 Buyer's Guide covering the trucks actually worth your money drops next.